Welcome back, everyone, to the Authentic As F podcast. My name is Sun Yi. I am a storyteller and marketer. And in this podcast, I interview entrepreneurs and creators. And we learn about their story and kind of the events that happen in their life, the lessons they've learned to become the person they are. Today, we have Eva Alordiah. So Elohor Eva Alordiah is an award-winning rapper, writer, entrepreneur, and co-founder of Africa's first all-in-one course hosting platform, Kobocourse.com. Eva is a multi-faceted creative artist who has indulged in every expression from writing to poetry, rap music, fashion designing, makeup artistry, public speaking, and now digital marketing. After falling into a deep depression in 2017, Eva took a needed break from her first love of rap music and spent her newfound solitude investing herself into the rabbit hole of digital marketing. When she started as a simple exploration of content creation will later lead Eva into fast-paced world that is online education business. In 2020, just as pandemic was shutting the world down, Eva teamed up with her brother Kino Alordiah out of necessity, and together they built the SaaS platform Kobocourse.com. Together, the sibling co-founders are growing Kobocourse.com into the only platform African creators will need to earn money online by selling their knowledge to the global audience. Eva now juggles her time between her music career as a rapper, writer, and teacher while building the next generation of African creators monetizing their knowledge online easily, thanks to Kobocourse.com. Thank you, Eva. So good to see you.
It is
Long
so
time
good
no
to see
see.
you. Thank you so much. I love how you read that. I'm going to cut it up and I'm going to use it every time somebody wants to introduce me. Thank you. It's
I
so
should
good
do
to
it
be
again.
here. Thank you.
It's
Thank you
been
for
so,
having
like,
me.
I talked to you like 2 years ago, last time, I think, right?
Yes, you were my
Almost.
therapist. You
So
were my
yeah, like
therapist one time.
I want to hear all about it. So we'll catch up to the recent years and like how. Well, I'm sure we'll get to the point where I met you and all of that.
Yes.
But let's actually back up all the way to the beginning. I want to start with like hearing about your upbringing, how you grew up, and like some key life lessons you learned like growing up.
I grew up as a very free spirit. Every time I have memories and flashback of my childhood, I just remember a very free spirit. And I'm very thankful to my parents for that because they did not restrict me. I think they probably learned from my big brother Keno because, parents learn. And I feel like they learned with Keno. And so with me, they did not really restrict me. I was allowed to do all the things that I wanted to do. I loved books as a young child. In fact, I started writing just before 5 years old, I think. And for the longest time, I thought I was going to be a writer because I used to write fiction. I still do. But writing then became writing rap music because I found Eminem. And my whole world changed at 13, 14 years old. I was in secondary school. And I really thought I was going to become a rapper. I really believed it in my soul that that was my life's work, to be a rapper. And because of Eminem, I just went straight into rap, and back then we had cassette players, and I used to make mixtapes by listening to the radio and dubbing the tapes, and it was a fun life, right? And even in high school I was a dancer, so I did like all the creative things with my body and my brain, even though I was a very intelligent student. I was top of class a lot of times. I wasn't like someone who did not like school. I liked school, but I also liked life. And I just remember that life kept on pushing me, and I'm still very curious about life. I love life. I love this, And through school, I just got out of the university and went straight into into music. I never got a job. No thanks to Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I read the book one time from my dad's library and I said, no, I'm not going to get a job. So right after university, I went straight into the studio and I just started hustling my music. And I don't know why I chose the hardest genre in Africa, rap music. It's not necessarily like the genre that everybody like supports in that way. So it was a very tough time for me as a female rapper, even though I did live my dream of assigning myself the best, not like assigning myself, but getting myself to the point where everybody says, oh, she's the best. Eva is the best,
And
And
this was
that's
all in Nigeria? Like
this was
you grew up
all
in
in
Nigeria?
Nigeria.
Okay.
Yes, the entire time. Thanks to music, I began to travel out of the country and out of the continent, performing and touring. But you know how you think that you know what your life is supposed to be, but life has better
Mm.
plans, which in the moment, you don't know that there are better plans brewing for you. You just feel like, oh, what is going on with my life? I hate this shit. And so after many
So
years
you
of,
went through that.
oh, I did. I finally became the superstar rapper that I dreamed of becoming. I finally became the best female rapper in Nigeria, according to them. And it
So
was just
that's
the,
when you went through. So
yes,
once you reached the top is when you went through
yes,
like kind of like a low point in your life.
the
Is
lowest
that
point
safe
in
to
my
say?
life, in fact,
Got it.
the lowest of the lows. It was like I was
Okay,
successful outwardly.
can we go back a little bit? I want to there's a few things I want to cover in your upbringing before we get to the adult Eva,
Okay.
right?
Now I'm
So you
looking at it
said
like a film when you say that. Okay, so you're rewinding.
yeah, because I think that whether we know it or not, our upbringing our upbringing has planted trauma within us. Some for the good, some for the bad. That affects what we do as adults in life. So let's kind of look at your childhood, right? Like so your brother, your parents were more strict with your brother, Keno. It
Yes,
sounds
they were
like,
more
and then
strict
with
with Keno. Yeah. I mean,
uh,
he's a boy. He's the first. So he took
so
that
can
for
we
all
talk
of us.
about like can you draw a picture of like a typical Nigerian family? Um, how parents are they strict? Are they is it very education focused? Like how what's the culture like there first, and then
Not to necessarily speak for everyone,
mhm.
but if you are not the elite and the richest of the rich, then you grow up in Nigeria. If you're in the richest of the rich, they probably take you to the UK, maybe London.
uh,
They take you abroad for school. But, you know, if your parents are in Nigeria and they're hustling the Nigerian life, then they tend to be strict because, like, everything is hard and parents want the best for their investment. School is the ultimate of the, I mean, it's changing now thanks to the internet, but the background, the cycle of it is like school is the ultimate. You must go to school and then you must become an engineer or a doctor or something. That's like the expectation. And if you are not that, then you are wayward. You're the one who did not bring respect back to the family. You're the one who did not
that's
honor
so
your parents.
similar to like it's so amazing how similar that is to like the Korean culture too.
Yes.
You know, yeah. So your brother was expected to be like engineer, like he grew up with that kind of like
Yes, he was
expectation.
expected
I'm
to be
assuming. Yeah.
something corporate. Yeah.
And what
But
do you think
Keno,
changed with you? Like, why did your parents change that with you? Do you think?
I don't know, maybe because I'm a girl. Maybe they were softer with me because I'm a girl. I don't know what it is, but I, I really can't say because I don't remember a lot. But from the conversations with my parents so far, it seems like I expressed my creativity joyfully, and they loved that. Maybe they loved seeing me when I'm singing in the church because I was in the choir, or they loved my little things that I was doing. In fact, I remember so clearly. I remember this like I'm watching a film on Netflix right now. I remember so clearly when I thought I was going to be a writer. I was about 7, and I'd written this novel in my notebooks in school, and it was a beautiful novel, and I passed it around class. Everybody read it. I was 7 or 8 or something, and everybody read it. And it got to my dad, and my dad was so proud, and he took me back to his office, and he was going to have, they used to print some yearly review in the office. So whoever was
Mm-mm-mm.
printing those yearly review magazines was supposed to help me print my book at the time. And my dad was like, so proud that his daughter could do something like that, and he really wanted that to happen for me. But I did not start writing officially until much, 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 much later. But I remember
Mm.
that very clearly as a moment when my dad just, took me in with my creativity, like, she's going to be a
Mm.
writer. She's a writer. And my mom has stories
That's
of me
so
from when I was
important.
2. Yeah. My mom has stories of me from when I was 2 or 3. And she says, I would go to school, I would come back home, and I'll teach the little kids in the community or in my neighborhood what I had learned in school. So she noticed that I was a teacher from very early on. Yeah, she always gives that
That's
story.
that's amazing.
Thank you.
It's so like what your dad did for you then. Like I'm sure this is not like he didn't plan it, but I feel like everybody needs that moment where somebody praises you for something you did good, and
Mm,
gives you that confidence that, oh
yes,
wow, like I can do this and I'm good at this or something like that.
yes,
Like for somebody
yeah,
to believe in you, right?
yes. It was
Um
very important.
so it sounds like you're so quickly, what is it about writing that you think you were drawn to at that early age?
It was the it was the way the words flowed on the page. I loved books a lot. I loved reading a
Hmm.
lot. It was the way the words flowed on the page and the way, they could arrest your mind and your imagination. I could stay for hours and hours and hours and hours just reading books. And after reading all of those books, it felt like, oh, I want to write my
Okay.
own. I want to write my own version.
Uh,
And then when I would write them in my notebooks in school as a child and pass them around, the little giggles from my classmates, I think that was exciting for
so
me.
you okay, so you felt the yeah, so you felt the audience at an early age. Because
Yes, because
I
they were,
do
they
think
were
that
in my
that's
class.
yeah. Because I do think that's why a lot of people go into speaking and stuff is because they love that audience presence and interaction, like
Yeah.
that reaction. And it seems like you had that kind of early age, which
Yes.
most kids don't, right? Like most kids actually develop a fear of going on stage or speaking in front
Yeah.
of
Oh,
people.
never me. I was always on stage. I was in the drama group. I was in the debating society. I was
Hmm.
in the dance group. I used to go in high school. I was in the dance group. I thought I was Michael Jackson. Don't play with me. Okay.
Hmm.
I thought I was Michael
So
Jackson. I was always on stage.
I bet you, like, I don't know, but maybe you can go back and kind of reflect on this. But maybe like your parents supporting you and giving you the confidence, and probably has a lot to do with, because you are very confident, very strong person compared to most people. And I was always curious, like, where that came from. Like I'm sure some of it is like kind of like genetic, like some of it is within you, right? It's in your DNA, but
Yeah.
maybe like your upbringing has something to do with it too.
I do believe some of it is in my DNA. Plus, I come from a very loving family. My family, we are very tight. Like, my brothers are my best friends. We're very close. And my parents have done a really fantastic job of keeping that closeness, in the family. And I think we bounce off of each other. There is no angst in the family. Everybody loves everybody. We have a
Yeah.
saying amongst us, the children, like, if you're dealing with anything in life, if you need anything, don't go outside. You better let us know. For example, like, if you
Mm-mm-mm.
needed money, don't borrow money from someone outside. You have to get it from the family. So I think that
Why
family.
is that? Like, is that a cultural thing, or is that, first of all, is that just your family?
No, that's just my family. It's in fact, it's an unspoken rule. It's not like something that was written in code or on paper. It's just
Why do you
something
think that is?
because we're always there for each other. So before I
Because
go
that
outside
also,
to ask for something, I would ask my family. I would ask my brother.
it also
Right.
like kind of enforces this culture of like you guys can depend on each other, right? This It's like an inner circle,
Yes.
and we handle our own problems, right?
Yes.
We don't air our garbage to the us. Like that's
No,
kind of how
no,
like a lot of Korean
we don't.
families look at it.
Yeah, we don't.
Um,
We really keep it inside.
yeah, but I actually think that also bonds the family. It really
It does.
it
It
makes
does.
you know that you can depend on them. I think that close, strong family unit is such an important thing in somebody's upbringing, because from my experience, it sounds like people who had a good, strong family support growing up,
Mm.
it seeps through in their whole personality and everything they do. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes. It's even gotten better and better as we've gotten older. the love and the bond. My older brother has babies now. My younger brother has a baby now, and so like all of those new experiences are making
Uh,
us even bond tighter. So it gets
that's
better as
amazing.
we age, and I just love it. Yeah,
So the next thing I want to go into is like, so you have this like work hard, play hard kind of mentality.
I
Um,
do.
what? and and it sounds like because you were a good student. At the same time, you were good in social life and all of this, like enjoying yourself and
Yeah,
rap music and all of these other things too, right?
yeah.
Where do you think that comes from? Is your whole family like that? Um, do and when you are going all in, like trying to get good grades and also excel in everything you do, what do you think is the drive behind that? What's motivating you to um, become excellent in everything you do?
I appreciate that. I take that as a big compliment. Thank you. To
You're
be
welcome.
honest, I don't know what it is. I think maybe growing up with boys gave me that in a way. Plus, I've always been jealous of my older brother, Keno. He's the smartest one. He's the genius. Growing up, I was always beside him, like watching what he was doing. He's also an artist. And so I think for the most part of my childhood, I was trying to beat my brother. It was, I think it was that competition. It's crazy because I grew
What
up,
is the age difference
it's,
between you two?
um, it's 4 years. It's just four
Okay.
years. So for the most part, I was trying to beat my brother. I watched him, drawing. He used to be a very fantastic, fine artist, and because of that, I picked up the pencil. Wanting to show that I could do it just as good as him. Um, this whole rap music, right? He was the one who brought rap music to the house
Mhm.
and made me fall in love with rap in a different way. And I
Mhm.
started listening to rap a lot because my brother was listening to rap a lot. And then same thing with the internet now. He started building websites way back when we were on Windows 97, right? And
Mhm.
he's been coding for that long. And when I started, messing around with the internet, it was really because my brother spent a lot of time online and I wanted to know what it was, right? So my brother is a really big inspiration. But generally, I've always wanted to be the best person in the group and be the best in the class and be on stage and have people watch me. And because I think I
Is
got
your
a lot
brother
of
like that too?
experience. No, my brother just does what he wants to do because he has a strong feeling about what he's building. It's not necessarily in competition or anything like that. He's just a very smart person.
Okay, so it's for him. It's not about winning. It's more about doing the thing, like
Yes.
like achieving the goal or doing the process or whatever that is.
Yes.
But
Yes.
you've had this like competitive thing that he doesn't have.
He has
So
that, but maybe
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 that's
not
kind of, yeah,
maybe not presented in your
not like
face.
you.
Yes. I think mine was influenced by rap. I think, because like the hip hop culture is very competitive in a way as well. And I spent many
Mm-hmm.
years as a rapper, as a female rapper in a space where it's mostly men, right? So that also added to my funk of competition.
Let me ask you. So you must realize that when you talk to your students, when you talk to other influencers, like when you talk to other people right now, and when you look at how people work, you must realize that the way you work, the way you hustle, the way you do things is not like the norm, right? Like most people don't hustle as much as you. Most people don't put in the work as much as most people don't execute like you. So you must know that you're not like just average, right? From looking at like I'm talking about strictly in terms of the work ethics, in terms of putting in the work.
It's funny you say that. I personally don't consider myself average, but it's funny you
Uh-huh.
say that because every single day I feel like I'm not doing enough. So
But
it's so funny
I'm
to
just
say.
talking about compared to other people, compared to the average person.
Yeah,
I would imagine you realize that you're putting in way more than most average
I
people.
try. I try. Something
Okay.
is pushing
So
me.
that's my curiosity. What do you think? Did you know that growing up, like that you were doing that compared to other people? Or is that something you thought everybody was like that? And at some point you realize, wait a minute, no, I'm actually not like everyone else. I'm working harder. I'm putting in more hours than most people. I'm putting in more effort than most people. I'm executing more. You know what I mean?
This is such a therapeutic moment for me because that is like some sweet feedback that I think my brain needed to hear. Thank you. I beat myself up a lot because I always feel like I'm not doing enough. So unfortunately, I don't see myself that way. I always feel like I'm behind. And this is funny because as much as in the present moment, I feel like I am behind, life has shown me again and again and again that I have always been ahead of my time. And until
Mm,
just recently, I have finally made peace with the fact that it's true that I have been ahead of my time in a lot of
mm,
things,
mm,
in fact in so many, maybe almost everything, like my music, for example. It's taken so many years, and now in this present moment of 2024, people come to me and say, wow, Eva, I just watched your music video from 10 years ago, it's still so good, wow, you were so ahead of your time. I'm like, oh yes, thank you. And it's like, oh yeah, thank you. And it's almost the same thing that's happening with kobocourse.com now, where I know, and I tell my brother this all the time, that we are so very early with what we have built with Kobo Course,
mm,
that I've made peace with that fact, and I'm going to hustle it until it is time for people to recognize what we have built, you know?
mm, 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 mm.
So in the
So
moment,
so it
even
sounds
though it
like,
feels like I'm doing a
yeah,
lot, I don't feel like I'm doing a lot.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you're almost like it's almost like you're isolated in a way that you don't realize like that you're working above average. Like the the the, the amount of work you're putting in is above average. So which is like I actually think
Wow.
it might be a
Thank
good thing
you.
actually.
It might be a
Because
good thing, but I'm tired of the isolation. I've been
mm,
isolated for
mm,
a long time.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
Well, I would, if I were you, I would probably try to dig in a little bit into that part. Like, what is it? Because for me, here's the thing, right? For the first 10 years of my career, I worked hard. Everybody called me a workaholic. Um, I didn't realize I always felt like I wasn't doing enough. I always feel
Yeah.
like I need to catch up, right?
Yeah.
For 10 years, and I for 10 years I did that just only to realize that um, I can never escape that.
Wow. Are you still like that, like you were when you started?
No, but that's what I mean. So about 10 years ago, I had this shift. I'm like, and the phrase that I heard was something like this. At that time, I was working around the clock all the time, and I'm like, okay, once I get through this period, then I can relax and I can work normal. That's what I've been telling myself that for years, and
You
I can
never
see
get through it.
yeah, I can see that day will never come because once I
Wow.
get to this level, my goalpost has changed. And once I get there,
Mm,
my goalpost has changed. So I
yes.
can see that I'm never going to get there. And I was exhausted. And then I heard somebody say this. If you're telling yourself that you're working 80 hours a week right now, but then in X years, once I'm here, you're going to work 40 hours a week. I guarantee you that they will never come. How you work now is how you're going to work when you have how you work when you have $0 is how you're going to work when you have $1,000 is
Oh
how
God.
you're going to work when you have $100,000 or when you have $1 million or 10 million or 100 million. Doesn't matter. You're still going to work the same way you work, and that kind of like shifted my that started to shift
How
my
did it shift
perspective.
your mind? What did you shift? What happened?
I was like, the other day I heard Tim Ferriss say this. He's like, every single human on Earth is gonna die with unchecked items in their to-do list. Every human,
Okay.
you are gonna die with stuff in your to-do list that's not done.
Yes.
That's just a fact. That's gonna happen to everyone, right?
Mm.
So if we're gonna die with unfinished item on our to-do list, why are we working so hard to keep checking off our to-do list? It's never gonna be done.
Oh gosh. Oh, that's a wonderful perspective.
So
Yeah.
I try to optimize more for the day than more like a yearly goal or 5-year goal. Rather than that, I try to optimize. Did I have a happy, fulfilling, productive day today? And if I did, I feel good.
Mm. And if come 10 p.m. at night, you haven't felt, you don't feel like you've had a fulfilling day, what do you do? Do you rush to catch up, or do you just say, "All right, I'll meet you tomorrow"? What
Yeah.
do you do?
Then I need to make a change. Yeah. See,
Tomorrow or before
see, this
12
is why
a.m.?
I think it's beautiful because you can, well, because I don't need to fix it right then and there. Like
Gotcha.
if I have 3-4 days in a row where I feel that way,
Yeah.
then I know I need to change something in my life, right?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
Gotcha.
And usually it's because it's me. It's because I don't like what I'm doing, so I Netflix and watch TV and eat pizza all day, and I feel like shit at the end. Like it, like I think your inner compass will tell you the truth. You just like don't want to hear it.
Yes. True. It always does, actually. We just don't want to hear it. It always does.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Next question I want to ask you is: sorry if I'm going too fast, but I just like
No,
I
it's
have so many
okay.
questions.
I'm with you.
So you said that you got into rap, and you said that like it was like such an easy thing to do, but I'm sure it wasn't. Like, what did that process? How does somebody get into rap? Let's say somebody wants to get into rap.
To be honest, the rap thing was the competition again. I didn't know anything about rap until this young girl in my dormitory at the time. Her name is her name Yemisi Ainde. Yemisi, she was like the life of the party in the room, in our room. Like we had this our hostel. We used to have like maybe 20 bunk beds and 40
More
people
than
in the
you.
room. Yeah, and so she and so she would be like in the middle of the room every other day and just performing for us, reciting like a whole movie or rapping a song. And this day she came and she was rapping Eminem's Cleaning Out My Closet. I'd never heard a song before. I did not know Eminem at the time. But because she was doing it, I wanted to do it. I'm like, well, who do you think you are? Why are you doing that? Why are you so smooth with it? And it was nice. So I took myself and locked myself up and practiced that song every day until I got it. And so I had Cleaning Out My Closet by Eminem in my brain, and I could rap it word for word just because I was in competition mentally with her. And at that time I was about 13 years old. I had already been writing fiction. I was already writing personally. But like rap, especially with Eminem, it was juicy, it was nice, it was yummy. In today's life I would say, oh, it turned me on. And I just found something so joyful about how he weaved the words together. It was different from fiction. He was still storytelling, but it was the rhymes, it was the metaphors. I was like, I love this, I want to do this. And that was how rap started, and I kept on doing it. And after school, or
Mm.
maybe just my final year in university, I literally called the radio station. I had nobody to help me. I did not know anybody in the music business. I did not know anybody anywhere. So I called into a live radio station and I said, "Hi, my name is Eva. I'm a rapper and I need a producer." You know how you call to request a song on the radio? I was supposed to request the song, and I requested for a music producer. And the guy
You
who picked up,
requested your own song.
no, I
Uh,
requested them to hook me up with a music producer.
so
And
this is before you even had. Okay, okay.
yes, this was
Oh,
before I had any shot at music in the business. I was just still in school. And so they called me over to the radio station, like, "Oh, we know a couple of people we can introduce you to." And the guy who picked up my call, Teddy Esosa, he got me into the studio and he got me a producer. And that's how I started. I began to meet
oh
people.
wow.
That was, and that's literally how it started. I was so sure that I was supposed to be a rapper.
So are you like that? Are you? So do you normally have no problem just randomly calling people and asking for a favor or asking somebody for like,
In fact,
because a
yes.
lot of people have problem with that.
Oh, no, I don't. I will text you. I'll send you a DM. I probably sent you a DM 2 years ago, son, right?
Yeah,
To talk
yeah,
about something and then expose
yeah.
my
No,
inner
no. We.
demons.
I mean, this
Right.
is kind of how we
Yes. And
And this is kind of how it happens, right? Like for me, yeah, so I'm not the type of person to do that. So when my closest friends are usually the ones like you who are the ones that reach out to me and things like that, and it's more
oh
proactive, more. And I just feel like so many, like the story that you just told, it's actually so important. The fact that you made that call to request a song, but instead of requesting a song, you're like, "Can you hook me up with the producer because I want to be
yes,
a rapper?"
exactly.
Like that's such a ballsy move, and it's something that people will be like, "What?" But the thing is, that made the difference. Like
It made
without
all the
that,
difference.
you wouldn't be in the music business, right? And
Yes.
sometimes like people don't realize it's as simple as that. Like just seizing all the
Yeah.
opportunities like that by just keep asking.
Yeah.
So
I
I
don't think
think that was like a brilliant.
Thank you. I don't think I'm trying my best now. I don't think I'm as bold as I used to be when I was younger. The older I get, the more I want to isolate myself, keep my thoughts to myself. I write a full tweet and delete it. Like,
Mm,
oh, I'm not saying that. I reply to a comment and delete. I'm like, oh, I'm not saying that. The older I get, the more I recline into my shell, and I'm just like keeping to myself. But I'm honestly like
you can
that.
feel that.
What did you say?
Like you can feel yourself becoming like that as you get older.
Yeah.
You're more worried and you fear more. And do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I'm more, holding my voice back just a little bit, like saying to myself, okay, maybe not now. Okay, maybe wait.
Mm-hmm.
Not like I'm self-sabotaging, but like I'm tinkering on it.
Mm-hmm.
you know?
And do you think you censor yourself, like you over censor yourself, or do you think that you're doing it just enough, just right?
Oh, just
Do you know what I mean?
enough. Just enough and just in the right
Okay,
circumstances. When it comes to
got
speaking
it.
my speak, teaching my teach, sharing my story, I try not to censor myself, because this is the one shot that I got to tell my story as
Mm-hmm.
originally as it is. And I've learned that if you don't tell your
Mm-hmm.
story yourself, somebody else will, and they wouldn't tell the truth.
Yeah.
So when it comes
Yeah. So I
to like,
think the fact that you know how
yeah,
most people get older and it happens, right? We get jaded and we're more fearful to try stuff. We take less risk, and that happens to everyone. But for
yeah,
you, it actually seemed like it might have been a good thing because
yes,
now you're just doing it like you're just cutting it off at the right moment, right? Like just to
yes,
not to cross the line or something like that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's it.
Um. Before you said that rap was not when you first started becoming a rapper. It's rap is not like so popular in Africa or something like that. Is that true? So is how is rap viewed in Africa at that time?
At that time, rap had already taken its roots, right? And people had already began to see, the superstardom aspects of rap, where the payment for rappers on the stage was, almost equivalent to the pop stars. And they were beginning to respect them, but maybe not so much. They were beginning to request them, but maybe not so much. But then even the people were also receiving the rap music in Africa. And African artists, Nigerian rappers were really beginning to speak the Nigerian stories in rap, you know? So there were people like Rugged Man and Idris Abdulkarim. You don't know them, but like, maybe someone listening might know them. Emaya Baga. And this
Mm,
were people who, because as when rap began to come into the system, like rap has always been, I feel like rap has always been this whole human experience. It's not necessarily like relegated to one culture or one group of people, even though a certain group of people may have made it popular mainstream. But the idea of rap and poetry and storytelling in the way that you are speaking the speaking and speaking it in a way that is rhythmic, right? It happens in every culture worldwide, I believe. But when it began to happen with mainstream music early on, it was almost like Americanized. But then there were this
mm,
beautiful artists who began to rap the Nigerian story or rap the African story in the African dialect and in the sweetness of our African tongues. And that was what began to make it popular. But of course, pop will always come in and pop will always
Mm,
take like center stage. And then people will have to start questioning, oh, are these rappers even relevant and things like that? And oh, should we even give them the time of day? But pop, will always come in. And then now there is the explosion of
mm,
Afro beats in Africa, in Nigeria. And Afrobeats has just taken our music generally to like a world stage that is just beautiful to experience and to see.
mm.
But rap is still happening. Rap still has its space and its pockets. I believe that the more we do rap in our own way and in our own tongues and in our own stories and share our own stories, the more people are accepting of it. But I'm not in a space right now where like I'm
Mm.
fighting for it. I'm just in a space where if rap
But
is
you
an
were,
expression for me, yes, I was. There was a time when I was. Until I looked at my bank
and
account
that's
and I
kind
was
of when you were
broke.
rising. Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about. y- I want to talk about that because I think that's when you kind of switch to education, more
Yes,
like online learning, marketing. It's probably like right before I met you.
yes.
But let's go from like the so your rise in the rap world, and then how the downfall, and then how you switch. Can you kind of tell us about that period of your life?
Oh, wow. That's a very traumatic experience. Um, I am so very thankful. Like when I think about it, I'm so very thankful for all the people who came before me in on the scene, especially the women. Because I was in a small space, which is rap in the entire music space, and then it was an even smaller space just based on how people treat you, which was being a female rapper. And the female rappers that did come before me, like Sasha, for example, they made it easier for someone like me to come into the space and be accepted. I feel like if I was the very first, it would have been so much harder. But thanks to Sasha and people like Blaze and Kel and Buki, and these are female rappers from Nigeria. Thanks to those women, I was able to come in as a younger, poppy, sensational rapper. You know what I mean? So it was like a small, fresher version of them. But they had already made it so much easier for me. And I had a wonderful time. I was living my dream. I wanted to do this. I wanted to be a rapper. I wanted to go all over the world. And I was touring and I was on stage and I was doing all these things. But, it was very tough because there was never no money. And when we were doing music at the time, we didn't have streaming like right now. There was never any money. Whatever money, whatever change I got, I had to pay people. I had to pay my dancers, my producers. And I was always an independent artist. So I had to like put the money into other people's
Mhm.
pockets. And there was never no money. And it was just like when you try to team up with people,
Is that
maybe
pretty
not.
typical for artists? Yeah, for an artist that are like at a certain level, but like maybe they have the fame, but they're not making the money yet. Yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of stories like that, especially if you do a genre like rap, when everybody's trying to focus on pop, you know? And so they don't sort you out based on how good you are or how wonderful your lyrics are. Like nobody really cares. It's like how many people in the crowd came because of your rap? Did they come because of rap or did they come because of pop? And did they just want to dance and jiggle?
Ah, I see what you mean. Okay.
I think what happened, to be honest, was I finally was on top where everybody recognized my name and they knew who I was in terms of like the music business. But being on top and my real life just being so low, I could hardly pay rent. I could hardly, feed myself. It was like I was responding to a persona that I had created on the outside that wasn't real. And so there was always that disparity between who I was on the outside, the persona, and who I really was and what I was really living. And it caused such a big craziness in my spirit that I felt like I cannot keep on living a lie because I'm going to bed at night by myself. I'm the one who knows what's going on and I need to take care of myself. So I really looked at my situation and I realized, okay, I left school to focus on this music career, hoping that, this would be the thing that will take me out of whatever state of my life I was in. And it will be the thing that will help me take care of my parents. But here I was almost 30 years old and I did not have food in the fridge. I did not have money for rent for the next year. And I couldn't afford to send my parents just money randomly. It did not make sense. So I wanted to be very honest with myself and I needed to figure out how money worked. I think that was what it was for me.
At that time, did you feel like you can ever make money rapping? Or
Oh,
did
yeah.
that, you just didn't see a pathway there at all? Do you know what I
No,
mean?
I felt like I could make money rapping. I'd already made money rapping. I'd already even gotten like corporate gigs and endorsements.
But I
But
mean, like as your main job without having to change career,
in
right?
that moment, I did not see that. In that moment, I just saw a cycle of struggle. I saw myself going back to do a show just to make money. Specifically, it was I did not want to have to do music to make money. I did not have to depend. Like, I was in a place where I felt like if you took music away from me, what am I? What do I have? Nothing. I hadn't developed any other part of myself. That was how I felt. So, yes, based on what it was I had achieved at
Mm,
the
mm.
time, and thanks to the love and support of all these people who were backing me, my fans and people, yes, I could definitely have been able to make it work, and I still will. But at that time, it was more about me being able to take care of my parents and me being honest with my adult self. And being honest with my adult self, rap had me, or music had me as a slave. And I was just working for the machine because I would work, I would make the money will go back. It just did not make sense.
If you could go back in time, knowing your knowledge, yeah, all the knowledge that you have now,
Mm-hmm.
how would you do it differently? Do you think?
I don't know.
Like, do you think it's not? Do you think it has to do with the way you manage the business side? Maybe like you were
Oh, a
successful
lot
as an
with that.
artist
Yes.
and getting audience and things like that,
Yes.
but you were
A
kind of missing
lot.
the business side.
A lot with that. Yes. Which was exactly why I said, enough of this. I need to go and learn business. You get what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Um,
So it wasn't necessarily about the rap music. It was more about the
no,
fact that you didn't understand the business side. Okay,
it was
got it.
not necessarily not understand the business side, but not being able to scale the business side from where I was and the opportunities that were around me at the time. It's especially just being in Nigeria and having like it just always felt like the bulk majority of people were not interested in rap. And when they say that
Mm-mm-mm.
they are, but they're not willing to put their money where the mouth is. You know what I mean? And
Mm-mm-mm.
so the
Got it. Got
same
it.
people who will say to you in the business, the same people who will say to you, "Oh, Eva, you're so talented. Oh, Eva, I'm rooting for you." They will call you for the show and still not want
Mm-hmm.
to pay, but then they will pay the next person who's coming to do pop. Does that make sense? So
Got it. Got it.
on
Got
the
it. Yeah.
business side, it just always felt like, I am doing my head in with these people and trying to, make people see that this is some good thing that I have or that I'm trying. And so it wasn't even just me. It was like a situation with the rap culture generally where there was just no money in that business, you know? Yeah. But if I could go back like you're asking and do it again, I'll probably do more pop. More pop and less rap.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it. Got it.
I would, yes,
Okay.
I'll probably do
That's
more pop and
interesting.
less rap.
Yeah. So why didn't you back then? What stopped you?
I guess this thing that happened with me just having the identity problem and falling into depression. And so I quit it. I just dropped it all. I said, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm sick in my mind. I need to go and take care of myself. So I took a big break from the music for more than 6 years. In fact, I did not do anything with the music. I did not try to be a musician or try to be an artist. I just took myself away from the scene, and everybody just kept on asking, "Oh, where is Eva? Where is Eva?" And this entire time I was online figuring out the internet and how to make money online, because I never wanted to put
Hmm.
myself in a situation because I loved rap so much that I did not want to squeeze money out of rap or squeeze money out of my ability to speak a word, with rap. I wanted to be in a position where money was coming from somewhere and I could just freely rap without begging you to pay me to do it, you know, because I had something important to say. And so it was this situation of, okay, you know what? I'm going to still do the music at some point, but right now I need to figure out how to make some money so I can send my mother some money when I need to send mother some money. I need to make some money so I can pay my rent and not beg anyone for money, you know. And that was exactly what I did. So I took a big break and sorted out my heart and sorted out, the identity problem, because then there was this big identity problem of who am I when I'm not a rapper? Who am I if I'm not Eva, the superstar, Because I had gotten to that state in my life and it was like useless to me. It was like, nah, this is not it. This is not life, you know? So I
What did
think,
you feel like at that time? Like when you were, so at one time, I don't know if you still do, but back then, like I met you through your marketing account.
yes.
So as far as I'm concerned, you're a marketer, right? You know how to grow Instagram. You're you're the hashtag queen, right?
Thank
So
you.
that's what I know. I didn't even know this whole rapper side until later
Yes.
on, right? And I was like, holy shit, she's famous. And and it's kind of like you were literally had identity crisis where some people knew you as a marketer, some people knew you as like a fitness person, some people knew you as like the spiritual guru, some people knew you
Yeah.
as like a rapper, like,
Yes.
and like they didn't even, it's almost like they didn't even know this other identities that you had. Like it
Yes.
was because your accounts were so niche, right? Like do you
Yes.
understand what I mean?
Very. Um,
So what happened after that? So how did you feel during that time, and then what happened after that?
when I decided that I needed to learn how to make money, my only, like rich dad, poor dad just made me feel like I would never get a job in my life. So when I decided that I was going to drop music for a while and go learn how to make money, getting a job was not an option. I did not think about it. I did not consider it. What I did consider was
Mm,
writing ebooks and selling ebooks online. That was my only plan. And so when I had that plan, I couldn't do it from my music account because my music account, I had, over 300,000 followers, just Instagram, and I had a burning desire to teach. And my mom has always been telling me that I was a teacher as a child, right? So in a way, spiritually, I felt like, okay, maybe this is time for me to, excuse me, explore that side of myself. And so I decided I was going to start from scratch. I also decided that I did not want anyone who knew me as a rapper to follow my teaching account, to follow my online business account. And so I was happy to start from scratch with a completely different name that did not have anything to do with my name because I didn't want the influence of Eva, the rapper, to infiltrate my online, business. And so I started that and it became its own entity. My online business became its own thing where I became this online coach who was teaching people how to create content and how to grow on Instagram and how to create and sell ebooks and all of these things. And then now I had a different persona, a different identity, competing with my Eva music identity. And so I always had that clash in
mm,
my brain, like these two spirits were fighting themselves. And for years, maybe 2, 3, 4 years, even until recently, I just kept on feeling like, should I do the music? Should I focus on my business? I would call my mom sometimes. I'll be like, Ma, I don't know what I'm doing in my life. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And when I'm doing this business side, I'm helping a lot of people. When I'm doing my music, I'm helping a lot of people. So I'm like torn between it. And my mom is just like, do it. That's what you want to do it, And it took a very long time for me to realize that I was actually onto something. And I think it was until we built Kobocourse that it began to make sense to me. Because that experience of not having money, of being broke and being talented but broke is a very general experience that a lot of people are
mhm.
suffering today. And okay, no problem. If I'm the one who has been chosen to go and fix the problem, I will fix it and I will spend my life fixing it. And that was how it began to feel. It began to have purpose. So I had gone from, I just want to make money online, I just want to sell a couple of ebooks, to then finding purpose in that work in the sense that I was beginning to teach people how to do the same thing. And my students and my clients are beginning to make money. And then myself and my brother, we built Kobocourse, and Kobocourse is helping African creators make money. And I'm sitting down and I'm thinking retrospectively, and I'm like, oh, this is what was happening. Like life was leading me here, but I had to go through this adversity and this pain and all the depression to unlock that aspect of myself that can now help people in this other area,
Mm-hmm.
which makes the story even more exciting, because I don't know that I would have been able to inspire people to want to monetize online if I was, talking from my braggadocious rapper aesthetic. He'd be like, oh, you're a superstar, you made it, you're a rapper. Who are you to tell me anything, right? But when you hear my story and you
Mm-hmm.
know that I quit this rap and I quit this music, and whatever I have today is not thanks to me being a superstar. Maybe there is some parts of that, but it's thanks to me actually doing the work and learning what it means to start a
Mm-hmm.
business from scratch. And you see that, maybe that will actually inspire you some more. And all glory to God, even more glory to God. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I've done that retrospective thinking and analyzing of the entire situation, and it sort of makes sense now when I look back. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it sounds like but that's actually it's beautiful because it seemed like you are forcing yourself to go this direction of, let's say, becoming a rapper, and then completely by accident,
Hmm.
because you started like making ebooks and selling online courses, so that you can make money. But that opened the door to this other product, Kobo Course,
Yes.
which is like now your new calling. And without without the series of messiness, you would have never arrived here. Like you could have
Yeah.
never planned for this, is what I'm
Oh
saying.
my
If I
God, no.
if I say go back 15 years and like plan the next 15 years, how are you going to get successful? You could have never planned for this, right?
No, I probably want to be like Michael Jackson if you had said that. My
Yeah.
whole dream was, oh, I want to be Michael Jackson. Yes, I would have still been on that.
Yeah.
But
In fact,
yeah.
Michael Jackson, founder of Kobo Course. Like those are two very different. Okay,
Yeah.
so question. So going back, you, it sounded like, so a few things. Let's explore this a little bit. So I always tell people that if you truly love something, don't turn it into a business, because then you're gonna hate it. And the parallel that I see here is, you said if you were to make money, how would you do it now? You said you would have done pop, all right? So basically, even back then, you had a choice. I can keep doing what I love, do rap music, which is people are not paying for. I can just sell out and do pop, and then they'll pay me, right? So are
Mm-hmm.
you really doing what you're passionate about? Are you really chasing your dream? But that's kind of what chasing dream looks like, right? If you're
Yeah.
passionate about design, web design, well, don't become a professional web designer, because if you become a
Mm.
professional web designer, now you're going to have to listen to your clients and make shitty designs that you don't want to make. Do you
True.
understand what I mean?
True.
And that's the thing about what people don't understand is, I love how you realize that. So I don't want to ruin rap, which what I love,
Yes.
and to sell out to make music I don't like just to make money from it.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm gonna do this, which is gonna make the money first, right? And which
Yes.
which led you to Kobo Course eventually.
Yes.
But I think there's something in that, right? I often feel like if you're really passionate about something, the best way to do it is set it aside, do it as a hobby, do something that's gonna make you money, so that you can pay for your hobby, and
Yes.
then eventually that hobby will become the thing that pays. But
Yes.
if you try to force this to make money, I don't think that they will ever. I don't
Mm.
think that they will ever come, because you're
I
going to be
love how
constantly
you painted
compromising your
that.
music. Yeah.
Yes. I love how you painted that because it's so true. I loved rap so much that I was willing to give it up, and I did. And it's funny because like now that I'm thankfully, I'm able to earn money online with digital products and coaching and consulting. That money now goes to paying for my studio bills now. And I'm like doing my music now effortlessly. I always thought that I would never be able to do the music anymore, but I've come back now to the music. I'm back recording. I've dropped another album. I'm releasing music again, and the music is so much better. The stories are so much deeper, so much richer, so much more purposeful than
Mm-hmm.
whatever it was I thought I was doing back then that was dope.
Yeah.
And so the pain has really been a pathway to even more purpose and more just love with this thing that I really adore. And I'm so happy that I don't
Yeah.
need to depend on the music for the money, because now I have the power to say no. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I've made more money from my online business than I did with my music for 10 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's always so funny to me.
Now
It's so
you're
like
musicking. Now you're making music out of like hope and joy, not out of fear,
just
right?
pure
Which
joy.
is what you were
Yeah.
doing before.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just pure joy. It's not like, oh, are they going to accept this song? And is this song going to fly? Will it make money? I don't care. I made the song. When I was
Yeah.
making the song, I loved it. And if you don't like it, the
Yeah.
person who it was made for will like it. So there's so much freedom with my
Yeah.
music right now, and so much more choice and opportunity for me to say
Yeah.
no. Because back then I would say yes to a few things just because, some change will come into the bank. But now I'm like, nah, thank you. I'm not available
Yeah.
for that. I'm busy. I have an online class. I have an
I also
online
want to actually mention that, by the way, a lot of people don't understand. When I met you, what you were telling me like a couple years ago is what happened is you try to sell ebooks and things like that, but like PayPal is not widely available in Africa, and like you saw a problem, right? I want to sell this, but there's no way for me to get money internationally from US and these
Yeah,
international markets. So you had to build your own, like 'cause there was no way for you to build a course and
that's
get paid
exactly
from
what
these
happened.
countries. So you had to build your own, and that's yeah.
That's exactly
So
what
that's
happened. That's
that's kind of
exactly
like
how,
the yeah.
that's the Kobocourse story.
Yeah, I just want people to understand that it's. I think the best way to uh, go about business is to just solve your own problems, right? Don't wait. Don't
True.
invent problems that doesn't exist. Like wait till you have the problem first and then solve it, and that's usually
Yeah.
the best business ideas.
Yes. That's exactly how Kobocourse was born. I never knew that there was going to be a Kobocourse. I did not plan for this. Um, but after creating my first course and I put it up on Teachable, I spent weeks doing it. And then I just found out, like, all of a sudden that Teachable could not pay me because they needed PayPal or Stripe. And I'm like, dang it, I spent a lot of time doing this. I was upset. That same night, I was mad. I was furious. That same night, I called my brother, Keno. And Keno is the genius. He's the one who codes. He builds web apps and stuff. And I called him and I said, Guy, what do you think about building a course platform for Africans? I know you can do it. And he said, yeah, yeah, da 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 da. And 2 weeks later, boom, we had Kobo Course. And I was the first creator on Kobo Course. It was my first. I was the one who uploaded the first course, first ebook, first everything. And the new problem, I was so excited about the platform. I wanted everybody to try it. But at the time, I didn't even consider it a business. I was just like, wow, I can sell my
Mm-hmm.
course to everybody all across the world and get my money in my Nigerian bank. Boom. I was so happy. I was excited for it. And then it dawned on me and my brother that we had built a business, that people were using Kobo Course and people were trying to sell their courses. And so now my initial problem of I'm trying to sell my course was no longer the problem. The new problem was people are using your platform and they don't know how to sell. They're not making money on your platform.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to take on the problem of these creators who were using Kobo Course now, like, okay, damn, we have a business. How can we help these people
You
make
got to
money?
teach them. Yeah.
Yes. And so all the education that I had gotten over the initial 2 years in marketing and content creation and persuasion and copywriting and storytelling and all of these things began to come full circle. As much as I thought that I was
Mm-hmm.
trying to make money online for myself, I was really getting the education so I can pass it on and help these people make money. I don't know if that makes sense,
I love
because
that.
now we
Yeah, no,
have
I love that. It's
this.
like imagine Kajabi also taught you how to create online courses and how to succeed online, like by
Yes,
selling courses online, right?
yes,
It's kind of like the software is the base, but you still have to show them how to. So let me
yes,
ask you this, kind of to wrap it up. What do you think when you look at your audience and you like? What do you think is the most common myth or like like some sort of a false belief that they have that you wish you can show them like a new way, right? So what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to kind of put a bow on the top and kind of like see where the story is and what is the message, what's the myth, and what's the truth, and what's the lesson, right?
yeah.
So in your opinion, like looking at your whole life story and all of that, what do you think is the myth, truth there, and the lesson most that most people need to learn, and like what's the story there? You kind of, I want to hear from you, and then I want to tell you, I'll tell you kind of my version.
Okay. For me, the biggest one for me that really ties it all together is that you need money to make money. And that has kept so many people stuck and broke and unhappy because they are waiting for someone to come and save them. They're waiting for capital. They're waiting for an investor. They're waiting for someone. When I needed money, when I had no money, all of life pointed me back to the fact that I had a phone with data, internet, I had a laptop, I had something, I had my brains, right? And even back then, when I just started, and somebody will argue and say, oh, but you need money to buy the laptop and you need money to do this. No, you already have your phone. I already had my phone, and people were
Mm-hmm.
booking me on the phone. And I was doing my coaching calls on WhatsApp, not even Zoom, right? And people were paying me $45 per hour back then, up until $100 per hour. And, I kept on increasing my coaching
Mm-hmm.
fees like that. But I never invested any money to try to make money, even from the beginning. Of course, eventually you're going to
Mm-hmm.
pay for software, you're going to pay for something, you're going to buy a course or something. But this entire business really taught me that we are alchemists, that we can literally conjure up anything out of matter that we already have. And I feel like that's the beautiful thing about life. Like, you see it in all of nature, and nature is always trying to teach us that we are creators, that we can, that the resources that we need is already widely available. And as a human being, the resources that you need is the resource of your mind, is the resource of your intelligence, your thinking, your presence in this moment. I really, really, really honestly believe that if you take everything away from me again, if you remove everything that I have, don't take my family, please. But if you take everything that I have physically, again, I will start from zero and I will get back up. Always. I will do it again, you know. And it will only happen because I'm using my mind and I'm being an alchemist with what is in here. You know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah.
did that answer your question?
Like most entrepreneurs yeah, most entrepreneurs that succeed once, if they lost everything, they can actually do it again very quickly.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
because it's not, it didn't take me 10 years to build my business. I can rebuild my business, my agency in a year if I want to, but it took
Mhm.
me 10 years to learn those lessons.
Oof.
Do you understand me? But now that I've learned those lessons, I can rebuild a business in a year. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's the you're I'm 100% with you. The resource and the knowledge is what it is the real money. It's the real value.
Yes, it is the real money. It is.
I agree with you. Your story, it sounds like the part of your story that I love the most is how you saw that this thing that you weren't even thinking about, right? You were so hyper focused on rapping that you didn't even see anything else. And all of a sudden
Yes.
you see this other thing where you make money from, and you made more money from here than you're rapping, where you had a successful career. I think what that showed is the power of and the opportunity of what internet can bring to a country like Nigeria, Ghana. And then you saw that it didn't even have the infrastructure to be able to receive payments from foreign countries, right? So you had to
Yeah.
solve that first. But it's kind of like right now I feel like in countries like Nigeria, there's an opportunity. There's an
Oh, there's a big
opportunity
opportunity. Yeah.
for these talented, smart people in Nigeria to to reach outside of Nigeria. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes, true, true.
I think your story can inspire people to do that because
Oh,
you
thank
basically
you.
did that yourself.
Thank
You were
you.
like, okay, I'm gonna make money first, and there, I found a way you can make money without like having to invest too much money. So I think I think what you're doing is amazing.
I
And
appreciate
I've
it.
always said like I always wonder where you would be if you were like born in Los Angeles or something like that.
Ooh.
Because I think like if we were born, if you grew up in a different environment, I just think with your level of hustle and things like that,
Yeah.
I'll be surprised if you weren't like you know winning
Do you
Grammys or
do you
something.
believe in do you believe in reincarnation? No.
No.
I knew you were gonna say no.
Why? I mean I'm not very spiritual actually, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Why?
Okay, I was just
Uh,
gonna say maybe in my former life or in another life, I have done Los Angeles and New York, and I've done all those places. In this life, I just
oh,
chose
maybe
Nigeria.
yeah.
Maybe
Maybe this is your yeah. May- Maybe that's your mission for this life
for this life.
uh is to bring wealth, yeah, like wealth and financial stability to Nigeria. Maybe
Oh,
that's
I
your
pray I can do it,
maybe
man. I
that's your
really pray
mission.
I can do it because
you know.
even as an entrepreneur now, as a
Yeah.
young entrepreneur now, I spent the bulk of my life being a creative artist, and I always used to say, "Oh, I'm not a business person. I'm a creative person. I don't do business. I'm a creative." Until I had to learn business online, and so I am in the
Hmm.
woods of or in the
Now you can
weeds.
say yeah.
No, I'm not necessarily like owning it, but I'm doing my best to be a better business owner and a better entrepreneur day by day, day by day. I've been learning on the job like all of us, you know. I mean, now I can say that I understand business. Just yesterday, in fact, I was at a board meeting for a physical business where they are hiring me as their complete digital strategist, and I have to coach the team. So this little tiny online business where I just wanted to sell ebooks has taken me into spaces and offices where people are asking me to come and coach their teams. You know, it's so wild. It's
That's
like,
amazing. Yeah.
wow. I never would
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
imagined
no,
that.
that's amazing. And
Yeah.
I really honestly do think that right now we have this like epidemic of people that are like oh saying follow your dream, follow your passion. So everybody's like trying to do this, but a lot of them are having the same struggle you had, which is yeah, I want to follow
Yeah.
my dream, but this is not paying and I can't even pay for my dinner. And like they're in that place. They're literally and like I do think
Yeah.
a lot of those people need that message of like you need to wake up, go start a business, learn business, and learn how to make money first, right? And I just think that's such an important message right now because so many people are
Right.
chasing their dreams when they can't even pay their rent, and it's just
Mm.
yeah.
It's not a fun place to be. It's not a fun place to be. It's very painful. It's very painful. And it can make you I don't know, I don't want to think of it can make you feel like shit, it can make you feel like nothing, especially when you know how talented and how knowledgeable you are, just not having matrix coins, which is what I call it. And to be honest, as soon as I began to play the game of, okay, you know what, all of life is a game, let's have fun, where are the coins, how do we get these
That's
coins?
true. I feel like if you're really passionate and you love something and then you're trying to make money off of that, because it's so hard to do that, right? Like it takes a long time.
Yes.
What's going to
Yes.
happen is you're going to feel so defeated. You're going to feel so defeated because you
Mm.
get keep turning down. Nobody wants to pay you for your rap. They want pop and all of that. Like after you hear no long enough, it gets to a point where you feel like, fuck, maybe I suck. You know what I mean? When it's not the truth, right? Like,
Fuck, maybe I
so that's
suck.
why I
You
think
should put that on a
it was a
t-shirt.
good move for you to kind of put this as but that's why I think it was such a smart move for you to kind of pause for a little bit and go do this
Yeah.
business thing so that you can get yourself out of that. It was such a smart move.
Like you were saying about your business, it's really the lessons that we gather in the time. It's not necessarily the time. Like I think we're so, trained to think about time, like, oh, 5 years, 10 years, what did you do with your life? What did you accomplish in all that time? It's really the lessons. And the lessons they play in every other aspect of life. And the lessons that I have
Mm.
gained from that time that I quit my music, what? I'll never trade it for I'll quit the music again if that's what I need to do to go get those lessons.
Yeah. I love it. It wasn't, none of those were time wasted. Those were all valuable in your
Nah,
life. And
none of them.
I just want you to kind of, let's wrap it with, can you tell us, for the people in Nigeria, people in Ghana, people in Africa, what is your one main message for them? And also, how can people find you if they want to learn more about Kobo Course and learn more about what you do?
Thank you so much. This was a very therapeutic conversation, to be honest. My message will be for everybody to pay attention to the times and the gifts of the times, the resources of the times that we are in now. We are only going to have this time one time. We've come from industrial to information, we're moving into AI. Everybody needs to pay attention to where, forget everything that they taught you in school, forget everything that anybody told you, and just pay attention to what life is showing you and the resources that life is giving you, and find a way to merge the gifts that you have come here with the gifts that life is showing you and make something out of it. If it's the internet, if it is social media, if it is Instagram, if it's TikTok, like, stop fighting about it, stop complaining about it. Don't complain about the algorithm. Just figure out what has been presented as a resource in this time and figure out how to use it to spread your message and give your light to the world. That's it. I hope that that came out clear. I don't know if I said it clear enough, but I hope it did. I am
Yes,
all over social
I
media.
love it.
You love that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love it because you're always like the first one. Every new feature, new thing. Like I learned how to use like Instagram stories from you, like from your
Oh,
your
thank
your little
you.
tutorials. So yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think when it comes to like utilizing technology and things like that, I think you're definitely in the forefront of that. So,
I try.
and where can
I
people
try.
find you? If they wanna start an online course, they're in Nigeria. They want to start an online course. They want to learn how to start an online course. How do people find
Please
you?
go to kobocourse.com/, Wi-Fi Money Woman. That is my page. They call me Wi-Fi Money Woman because I literally teach you how to make money online and all you need is Wi-Fi. And if you go to kobocourse.com,
I
that
love
is
it.
the best platform for African creators right now. You can sell literally anything on Kobo Course that you want to sell to monetize your knowledge, your ebooks, your coaching, your community, your memberships, your courses, your tickets for your classes, everything. And you have access to a global audience because we've made it so easy for you to receive your money all over the world. And I'm so happy that
Mm.
other creators can begin to use this platform right now in Africa. It's just a blessing for me. And it's a blessing for all the people who have been using it. So if you want to find me online, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram. I am Wi-Fi Money Woman on Instagram. I am Eva Alordiah on Instagram. I am Eva Alordiah on YouTube. I am Elohor Eva Alordiah on YouTube because, there are many versions of me. So wherever you find me, you find me.
I'll put all the social media links as well as your
Thank
website on
you.
on the show notes.
My music, by the way,
Yeah, and
is
I
a
can.
wonderful work playlist. I make high vibrational spiritual music for the soul. I don't make just anyhow music. I make music that helps your brain just elevate. And it's powerful work music. So if
Oh,
you
I
want
love
a
that.
playlist for that, just follow my Spotify, Eva Alordiah on Spotify.
Ooh,
Ooh.
and I can definitely vouch for like I've the first time I wanted to learn how to use hashtag, I remember I bought your ebook and
Thank you.
and it was like like everything that she teaches, it's stuff that she's done herself. So she
Yes.
teaches from experience, and like that's why I think I always find like really practical stuff that I can learn
Yes.
from you.
Oh
And
my God. Can I tell you one last story about what you just said now, please? One last story.
yeah, of
So I
course,
tried and failed at YouTube more than 4 times since 2016. I've always been trying to do YouTube, right? So I start a new YouTube channel, I take it up, I go, 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 and then, I give up. And so I had all these sporadic channels. And the other day I was telling my brother, and I eventually learned about YouTube and learned how to use YouTube to the point where I was consulting with clients, and the strategy I give them for YouTube, it works. but I did not have my own successful channel. So the other day, anyway, I was telling my younger brother to tell his wife to start a YouTube channel for her hair because she has this beautiful hair. She does hair care and stuff. I'm like, girl, you can make so much money on YouTube. And my brother said to me, well, what about you? Where's your own YouTube? And that shit hit me. It hit me in the chest like boom, boom, boom. I'm like, oh God, okay,
Ooh.
great. I'm gonna go do my YouTube. So I finally started a brand new channel from scratch. And in fact, just last week, I had 230 subscribers on this new YouTube channel. I started from scratch because I said, you know what? I've messed up my other channels. Let's start from scratch. I understand the platform. Let's do it. 230 subscribers. I posted one more video to that channel and I did the thing that I knew I was supposed to do for the algorithm. And guess what? 10 days later, I have 100,000 views on that video in 10 days. Like the algo is working for me right now. It's 10K views per day. I now have 6,000 plus subscribers on the channel and I'm going to get monetized because they say, oh, you have 4,000 watch hours. You have all of
Oh,
this.
you gotta
Just like
teach
that.
us how to do that.
Just like that. I'm going to teach you. I'll be happy to. Just like that, and it's this thing that I've been trying to do for the longest time. But of course, my brother motivated me when he said, well, where is your YouTube channel? When you do it, we will
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
So I hope that
That's
was a
like
good
actually
story.
like that's a great story to wrap it up. Like it's kind of like for all those out there, shoulda, coulda, woulda's, like everyone says
Oh
you
my God.
should do this, you should do this, you should do this.
Yes,
Just
yes.
shut up and do it.
Oh, this was so good. This was so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eva. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for your time. Thank you for opening up and being so honest with you. I
I
love your
appreciate
whole
you.
setup. You're glowing every
I'm
time I
sending
see
you
you.
love from Africa.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Dun, dun, dun.
Sending you love from Texas.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I'll see you all next week. And cheers, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.